Dear brothers and sisters, it's wonderful to have all of you here. Now, once we know our goal and once intellectually we understand what are the steps to get to our goal, and then we have a passion to get to our goal, what is very important is that we put into action the steps so that we can reach our goal. It's just like, let's say you're going to a destination, and most people go to destinations through their cars. So you know where you want to go, you want to get there, and you come in the car and you sit in the car, but you don't turn the ignition on. If you don't turn the ignition on, the car's not going to move. So you need to put into action the steps that are going to take us to our goals. So how do we put into action all the steps that we have? When we look at our life and our day-to-day activities, we all, as we want to get something done, and during the day we have many, many things to do. We live in a world which is having many attractions toward the world for us. And so we get, for each and every one of us, activities in many areas that we feel we need to do during the day. And so we generally make a to-do list. In the old times it used to be on paper, maybe with the new kids it might be on their phones. But a way by which we think and we feel what is important to do during the day. So in our to-do list, the first thing that we should have is meditation. Now, the great saints have said we need to give 10% of our daily time to our meditative practices. So that means about 2.5 hours. So the key is that we put in the first spot, okay, we need to meditate at least for that much time. Now, if we can do it the first thing in the morning, if we can do at least the 2.5 hours, then we know that that is done. But if, when we sit, it's difficult for us to sit for that long, then we can break that up and we can say, okay, we'll do it in 2 sessions. Maybe an hour and a half and an hour, maybe an hour, 15 minutes each. If we can't do that even, we can maybe break it into 3 sections, maybe 45 minutes and an hour, so that we are able to make sure that the most important thing that needs to be done is done. So we need to take action, we need to put into play, and we need to make sure that not only do we put it on the to-do list, it's way up there, so that's like the first task that needs to be done, so that the most important thing that needs to be done on a daily basis is done. Then, as we are focusing on our meditation practices, we'll find that life for us is going to be more joyous, more blissful, and more loving. And the more we meditate, the better the transformation in our being is going to come into play. So what is important is to be able to focus on this very important aspect of our lives. The next thing on our list after meditation should be selfless service. The need to help others. To help others because we want to help others, not that we are forced to do it. Even meditation should not be something that we feel that we are forced to do. Meditation should come automatically. We should enjoy doing it. We should do it because we want to do it, not because we are forced to do it. Anything that you're forced to do, you don't get benefits out of it. But if we do something because we want to do it, then we definitely are able to gain from it. So helping someone brings tremendous joys to us. The great spiritual masters have said that 1 hour of selfless service gives us the same benefit as 1 hour of meditation. So you can well imagine what the gains are when we do help someone selflessly. But if we help someone because we are forced to do it, or we help someone because we think they'll help us back, if we look for the rewards to help, then that does not benefit us. So the key is to be available in the day whenever opportunities arrive for us to help. And there are many opportunities that arrive. It could be like you could help someone physically, we can help someone emotionally, we can help someone intellectually, we can help someone financially. So many opportunities arrive in our life where we can help others. So the great saints say we should make use of them. Because if God has been generous to us to provide us with maybe good health, maybe good relationships, understandings, maybe good intellect, maybe help us financially, then it's a gift of the Lord. And so we need to be able to give back to the community. We need to be able to help. And help can be provided to those who we know. Help can be provided to the people in our neighborhood. Help can be provided to those who live in our cities or our countries. Or help can be provided to anyone else in the world. Helping to quench the thirst of someone, helping to fulfill a need for someone which will dramatically improve their way of life is what selfless service is all about. So whether we help someone that we know or we help someone that we don't know, we should make ourselves available to help. The third thing on our list should be to attend satsangs, to be able to take the time daily to fine-tune our attention towards God. Now, there are times when we can physically go to a satsang, because wherever we live there might be a satsang community, we have a satsang center, we have gatherings maybe once a week, maybe once in 2 weeks, some places they're gatherings every day. So whenever there's an opportunity for us to go to satsang, we should make good use of it. Why? Because when we go to satsang, the benefits that we get are tremendous. And we might not see the benefits as we go there. We might not understand the benefits as we get there. But the benefits come to us in abundance. Because when we are in satsang, which is in the name of the great spiritual masters, then our attention is on God. Because the great saints are always exhorting us to solidify our connection with God. And so, when we find ourselves in the world outside, then we find that our attention is dispersed in the activities of the world. Okay. When it's dispersed in the activities of the world, that means our attention is not on our goal, because we need to be able to survive in this world. And so we need to do some activities to make sure that we're taking care of ourselves, our families, and whatever other obligations we have. At that time, our attention is defocused from the time that could be spent in knowing God. But when we get to the satsang, then our total attention is on God. Our attention is on our connection with God. Our attention is how do we take steps towards God. And that is what brings tremendous benefits to us. Because wherever our attention is, that's what we become. So the more time we spend in the satsang arena, the more benefits we get. When we have opportunities to be in the satsang where the physical presence of the spiritual master is there, then many more gains come to us, because then we are open. And if we are receptive, then the spiritual radiation which Sant Singh Ji Maharaj would always talk about, and he would say that 2/3 of the spiritual radiation comes through the eyes of the spiritual master. So that divine current of love, or the divine current of light and so on, or the divine current of the creative power, that comes to us, and if we are receptive, then it impregnates us. And if we come to satsang and our attention is not in the satsang, but it's in the activities of the world outside, then it bounces off us. But if we are receptive, then that energy gets into us, comes into us, and tremendous benefits come to us. And this is why some of you who maybe have been physically in the satsangs held by Sant Singh Ji Maharaj and Sant Rajinder Singh Ji Maharaj, you would have seen in some of the satsangs, there will be some people who would all of a sudden have these spiritual experiences where they are oblivious to their physical surroundings. Okay. This happens because the person is very receptive, and when they're receptive, they are gaining from the spiritual energy which is coming their direction. Now, the spiritual energy is coming to each and every one of us, and depending on how receptive we are is how much we can gain from it. Okay. So coming to a satsang has tremendous benefits, and the saints have said that it is very important that we be in satsang, because there's a recharging. All week long, if we are focused in the world, our attention is going into the world. When we go to satsang, we get recharged, we get refocused on God. We understand why it is important to be focused on God. Whatever our spiritual journey is, we get like a push to go faster towards our goal. And we start to experience not only the love coming from the spiritual master to us, but we through that start to experience the love of God. And so we find ourselves to be in tune with God. And as that happens, we find that our life is getting more fulfilled, more happy, and more joyous. And so as we think about the steps that we need to take and the action we need to take to fulfill the steps, these actions of meditation, of being able to do selfless service and going to satsang are the key which help us be propelled towards our goal. Sant Rajinder Singh Ji Maharaj, who wrote much about the spiritual way, and he gave guidance to how do we take these steps. In one of his verses, he explains at our own level what is really troubling us from taking these steps. When we think of what troubles us from knowing God, the key to understand is that each and every one has the same problem. Okay? And that problem is our ego. It's our ego that keeps us away from God. It's our ego which separates us from the Creator. It's our ego that creates duality. It's our ego which makes us feel, oh, I am better than everyone else, I'm different than everyone else. And so the saints have said, like Kabir Sahib has said very strongly, he says, जहाँ हरि है वहाँ मैं नहीं, जहाँ मैं है वहाँ हरि नहीं. And he says, Prem gali ati sankri, ja mein do na samay. He says, wherever there is God, there is no question of ego. And wherever there's ego, there's no question of God. So he's clearly saying, if you have ego, you're not going to be able to find God. Why? Because you are not talking about duality. You're talking about you being separate than someone else. And that means you separated yourself from God. So he says, ego is the root cause of our being separated from the Creator. And then he says, the way to God is through the lane of love. But the lane of love is very narrow. Two cannot walk in the lane, you have to be one. So he's suggesting to us that as long as you are controlled by your ego, you are not going to be able to reach your goals. And so the key is to be able to control your ego. The key in life is to be able to be in a state in which we realize that we're not different, we're not separate from everyone else, we are all one and the same. So let us meditate for a few minutes. There's nothing better than meditation. Please sit as comfortably as you can. Close your eyes very gently, just like you close your eyes when you go to sleep. Our eyeballs should be straight, focus 8 or 10 inches in front of us. And those of you who've been initiated in the mysteries of the beyond, please do your Simran. And those of you who are new here, please repeat any name of God that you feel comfortable with. The repetition of God's name should be done mentally and not out loud. I pray to God Almighty and to the three great spiritual masters of the past century, Hazur Baba Sawan Singh Ji Maharaj, Param Sant Kapal Singh Ji Maharaj, and the Alpura Sant Darshan Singh Ji Maharaj, to help each and every one of us connect with the divine power within and to experience the divine light in its effulgence. I will be sitting for a few minutes. I'll be getting you out of this meditative state, and my best wishes are with each and every one of you. Please leave off. Please leave off.